which is our. Is this like
another tag match?
2 teams of 3? Is that what I was looking at?
It was a 6-women tag match. So yeah, you have 3 on one side
so
and 3 on the other.
Damage Control, and then again, I wish they would come up with names because it's awkward
this
to come up with Naomi, Bianca, and Jade. It's kind of doesn't flow.
They're not a team. They are not a team. They
were that night.
They were for that one night, and it'll probably be just that night. So there's no reason to give them a team name, especially because, and here's the thing, and we'll go into this. Jade Cargill is who WWE is going to be pushing as their next big women's wrestler.
And rightfully so.
Because you look at her presentation last night.
My fourth note in here is Jade is her.
Yes, she's a star in the making, right? She has an aura. She stands out amongst a bunch of colorful the presentation of all these women. There's a lot of color to it.
Over the top with some of that, yeah.
Over the top, just like they're trying to be larger than life. And here comes Jade Cargill, and she genuinely feels larger than life, standing next to all these colorful characters. And yeah, going into this match, man, it was fine. I think it was a fine match. The presentation, this is one I have my notes here. This is one of the few instances of pop and circumstance for entrances. You had the Kabuki Warriors and Damage Control. You had like the geishas leading into the start of their entrance, and then you had the 3 girls, Jade, Bianca, Naomi, coming down from the sky, each with their own, like, a couple seconds of their own individual music playing to give them that moment in the spotlight. That felt WrestleMania to me, brother.
I really enjoyed that. Because I had written down originally that the Damage Control intro, I liked it. They look crazy as hell. And then they introduced the other 3. I was like, that's somehow even better, even though it's not one cohesive thing.
Exactly. It was really impressive.
They didn't come out of the or the curtains. They like dropped down, right? They like descended from a platform, which I don't know how that works in the link, where I guess they just put them up there and everyone could see they were up there. I don't really know, but
that's what the other entrance is for, right? Because you want all eyes on the first team,
yeah,
and then you sneak the other girls up, and yeah.
That was fun.
But yeah,
I mean, most of my notes on this one are just that I was still confused about the tag rules, but now that you've explained them to me, that kind of gets rid of a lot of those.
Yes, and now here is my notes on this match. And this is not a slight towards the women involved, because they're all talented wrestlers, like each and single one of them. Naomi, she's been the face of the division before. Bianca Belair, she's been the face of the division before. And Jade Cargill, she's up next, right? She's still pretty green as a wrestler, but you look at her presentation, she is WWE to the core. And the more in-ring experience she gets, the better she'll become, to the point where I don't be surprised if, like, 2 years from now, she's on ESPN, she's on these talk show hosts, she has that natural charisma.
I had no idea that she was new, if I'm being honest with you. It sounded like she's been a fan favorite forever based on the reaction she was getting, so that's a good sign for them.
Because she was an AEW, like an AEW original of some sort, and there's just been a lot of hype around her because she is. You can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it. Yeah, you put she is her, and that was your first. That was your first experience with Jade Cargill. That was my second. Like, my first time seeing her was at the Rumble, and she just got it. Whatever it is, she has, and she has it in spades. Now, going to Damage Control, like, hell, you look at those women. Asuka has the longest undefeated streak in WWE history, right? Then you have Kairi Sane. She's a decorated Japanese pro wrestler, and she's probably, like, if these women were allowed to wrestle the Japanese style, I wouldn't be surprised if the 3 girls that they were facing would have just called it quits, because she hits stiff. Watch a Kairi match in Japan. She is stiff as hell with her strikes, and because she grew up through like a hybrid of the old school Joshi system and the new modern school Joshi system of where like, hey man, like we need to be as brutal, if not more brutal than the men to catch the attention.
Yeah.
And they are brutal. And then you had Dakota Kai, who she's a multi-year veteran of professional wrestling. She knows what she's doing in there. She may not have the same star power as her Damage Control stablemates, but she can get in there and she can wrestle with any of them and have a good match. And that's what they did. I mean, they had a good match, but here's my problem. And this is my note. And this is why I don't want it to sound like a slight, because I wanted to, give these girls their flowers before I put this on. This didn't need to be on WrestleMania. It did not, like, story-wise.
I assume the point was for Jade.
Yes.
That was the whole...
And so this is what I put down. This one didn't need to be on WrestleMania, but it was a showcase of talent. So this was this was it, because you wanted to give 6 of your most talented women something to do, and you just signed Jade Cargill. You have taken quite a while to debut her, and so you're like, you know what? We have a spot at WrestleMania. We'll just throw you in there with these girls, and yeah. But like, here's what I'm going to write down for storyline purposes. Damage Control should have won, but for the purposes of building your next star, the correct winner was crowned, and the right person made the pin, which was Jade Cargill.
And this was probably the fight that really was like made me consider. I think I might enjoy watching the women more because of just the way they fly around the ring. Jade did that one thing where she landed on top of all 3 of the girls at one point. That's just serious entertainment. Yeah,
and I will say this: the women, like women's wrestling, dude, it has just been on an uphill climb for the past decade now. And WWE specifically, women's wrestling has always been good outside of WWE, but the last 10 years, or maybe even 8, specifically 8, there has been a genuine investment in their division, and you are seeing it.
Yeah, you are growing up watching it. It was more of like they were just out there to be sexy. slightly hot buff girls in bikinis, and now they're like really incredible athletes.
Yeah, who also happen to be attractive too.
I mean, yeah, it's like, to be that kind of athletic, you're gonna to some degree probably be pretty fit.
No, so. because there was a lot of men and women on X yesterday who were not only were they losing their shit over the in-ring action, but they're just like, oh my god, these girls look great. I'm like, what do you expect? Of course.
Yeah, who would have guessed working out all day every day would make you look better?
Right. And but yeah, my only gripe was again that this didn't feel like a WrestleMania worthy match. It just felt like this match could have taken place on Raw or SmackDown. Because again, if this needed build, they did not build to it. That's more on WWE and not the wrestlers themselves. So I just want to make that note.
Yeah.
Other than that, I have nothing else.
The only storyline thing I've seen about Damage Control was when we were at SmackDown and they were talking about
Bayley,
the one girl they kicked out, and then I don't even know how any of that, if it got resolved at all.
So Bayley,
it feels like the Damage Control again, because I don't watch enough. It feels like they don't. I don't even know why they're a team. It doesn't even feel like they go together. It doesn't feel like there's much happening.
So I'll give you the Spark Notes version. Bayley, who is fighting Io Sky, all right, and then you have Dakota Kai, right? Bayley, a couple years ago, comes out during WrestleMania. I believe it was WrestleMania, or it was during like SummerSlam. It was during a major event. Comes out and she has Io Sky and Dakota Kai with her. 2 girls that were on. One girl who was released from WWE, and the other one was kind of on the verge, just kind of on the edge. Like she might get released, she might not. Come together, they make a stable, a faction, if you will, a group, and they wreak havoc on the women's division, right? And you could say there's like these girls are outsiders, so they band together and wreak havoc, right? They lose a lot, but they also just make everybody's life just miserable. And then fast forward some years, Bayley wins the Women's Royal Rumble. And prior to the Royal Rumble win, right, Kairi Sane and Asuka join the group. They join the group because they know Io Sky, right? They have a personal connection, not just storyline, like in WWE's character in their universe, but outside in real life. Like these girls, they wrestled with each other and against each other in Japan, right? They were friends in real life before WWE and now in WWE. So we take that, and now we go to the whole, well, Bayley's been losing a lot. Bayley seems to like be the weak link in the group. So she wins the Women's Royal Rumble. These two outsiders, Asuka and Kairi, come into the group, and there's dissension involved. But it all looks on the surface like it'll be okay. It'll be okay because Bayley's going to challenge Rhea Ripley for her title because Io Sky has the other women's title. And then betrayal happens. Bayley now is forced to challenge Io Sky. So they kick her out the group. They kick Bayley out the group. And now that's what you have now. As far as the Damage Control versus the other three girls,
there's no point.
Really, here's what it is. So because Damage Control ran rampant against the women's division, Bianca Belair specifically lost her title to Io Sky. She has beef with Bayley. She has beef with Damage Control, so she has no sympathy for Bayley being kicked out because she's like, you're getting what you deserve. Naomi, who was out of WWE for a year and a half to 2 years, comes back and she's like, listen, I haven't been part of what's happening, but Bayley is my friend, right? I've known Bayley for a long time. She does, like, what's happened now is in the past. And then Jade Cargill comes around and is like, listen, Damage Control, you're kind of in my way. Like, you are a roadblock on my way to stardom. So these three girls just kind of get together and they're like, we're going to wrestle Damage Control now, but they don't really associate themselves with Bayley outside of Naomi.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the quickest version that I could give you about what that all was about.
It always goes back several years, so it's kind of tough to.
Yeah.